Hi guys, it is Mr. Fed. Welcome back to the channel. I'm back in the man cave. I thought I would drop a quick video today giving you my middle-aged thoughts about this particular release here, Ys X Nordics. So far I have put about 30 hours into this game and I think I have enough appreciation of it really to give you my thoughts and about a recommendation really about whether you should pick this one up or not. So I do have the other two games in the series, Ys 8 and Ys 9. I will be making reference to these two games as the video progresses, but here we're talking solely about Ys 10. So Ys 10, what's the premise? What's the plot? So you take control of Adult Christian. You take control of Adult Christian in all of the Ys games. He's an adventurer, and in this particular game he stumbles across a civilized people called Normans, led by a seafarer called Karja Bolter. Now, upon stumbling upon these Normans, the Normans are actually in conflict with a set of monsters called Griga, and Griga have taken over various Norman cities and towns and have taken some of the Normans kidnapped as hostages. Adol agrees to team up with Karja, using power of mana to go and fight the Griga, claim back Norman towns and cities, and rescue the hostages on their way to a showdown with the Griga final boss. So your typical JRPG storyline. What is not typical for the Ys series is that this sort of adventure takes place over both land and sea. Yes, Ys 10 has introduced new gameplay mechanics where for the first time you will venture across the sea using a sea map, sailing in a ship called the Sandris. Now, I know that whenever a beloved gameplay franchise introduces new gameplay mechanics, the first reaction is, and certainly my first reaction is, oh my goodness, they've moved away from the core gameplay that I love so much. The new gameplay mechanics are going to absolutely suck and I'm not going to enjoy this at all. That was certainly my first thoughts. I am very happy to report that the seafaring mechanics in this game, they're new, but they're not an afterthought. The developer has put in a large amount of time to get the seafaring right and make the seafaring a very interactive part of the game. You will spend probably about 40% of playing this game out at sea. Now the actual sea map is large and there's plenty to do. A lot of your side quests are all done at sea. Finding treasure maps and then going to scout out the treasure. Finding new islands, freeing various captured islands from Griga, meeting other merchants out at sea, and then being able to buy exclusive materials and exclusive items off them. And the actual ship, the mechanics of the ship are brilliant. I could not fault it. They've basically taken the ship mechanics straight out of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and have put them in this game, and that's not a bad thing, because Assassin's Creed 4, the sailing and ship mechanics in that were brilliant, and equally the sailing and ship mechanics in Ys 10 are also brilliant. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed sailing my ship, and I really enjoyed the combat as well, that you fight with other Griga ships that you meet. Now, upgrading your ship is quite a simple task. As you rescue hostages that have been captured from the Griga, these hostages will join you on your ship and join you on your mission. And when they join you, they will upgrade various or specific parts of your ship and also offer you various other items that you can potentially buy in order to upgrade or trade, your items, armor, weapons, or buy other essential items. So that's all well and good. Now on land, the combat, they've done away with the party system, so you control two characters. You can either control Adol or you control Karja. They fight cooperatively, so you can use them. They're attached by like a mana string. And you can attach them, and you can fight cooperatively, and they have various really good skills, dual combat skills, which look great and are very effective. And the blocking mechanics are great, so you have the ability to block, and when you do block, then your rage meter increases, and that allows you to counter with a more powerful skill. So you've also got dodge mechanics as well. If you dodge an attack, then you're allowed to counter with a particularly powerful strike if you dodge just at the right time. And you have other elements of gameplay which have been incorporated as well. So the mana string allows you to attach onto various things and traverse maybe gaps in land. So if there's a gap that you can't jump over, you might be able to use your mana string to swing over. You'll have a mana board, which is kind of like a surfboard, which allows you to sail or go across open bodies of water to get to new areas of the map or new areas of land to explore. And you'll also have another thing called the mana monocule, I think, and that allows you, when you activate that allows you to see hidden treasure. It highlights a piece of hidden treasure. You'll go up to that hidden treasure and you can dig it up and you'll collect whatever that hidden treasure may be. So the actual gameplay, the combat, it feels crisp, it feels tight, it feels sharp. I didn't have any problems with this at all. I did find myself tending to sort of stick with the same skill that I use, and I sort of use that same skill over and over again. But you know, not once did that ever feel boring, and not once did ever exploring the sea or exploring the land ever get boring or ever get tiresome. There are absolutely loads of collectibles, there's loads of hidden treasure, there's loads of side quests, there's plenty to keep you occupied in this game outside of the core story quest. Now, in this game, typical JRPG, you have to collect and kill everything you see. You really can't afford to miss collecting even a single blade of grass. Now, the developers have not put this blade of grass here simply for you to walk by and ignore. That blade of grass is there for a very specific purpose. That is there for you to collect. It gets very, very annoying when it comes time to upgrade your ship, and you are, let's say, upgrading the titanium exterior of your ship's hull, and you end up being one blob of mud short, because that means you need to go back to the island and you need to find that blade of grass that you missed in order to upgrade your hull. But that's fine. I mean, it promotes sort of thorough research and thorough gameplay. It encourages you to explore every single corner of this sea map and every single corner of the land terrain, and that is not a bad thing, because that's something that I enjoy doing anyway, you know, like really getting into all the nooks and crannies of the entire map. Now, referencing the other games in the series, Ys 8, I thought Ys 8 was absolutely brilliant. I didn't think Ys 9 was as good. Ys 9, I did play it, I did complete it, but it's largely forgotten, kind of forgotten about it. So Ys 8 and Ys 10 seem to be the games in the series which are sort of the must-to, go-to games. Whereas I would have given Ys 8 quite happily a 9 out of 10. I thought that game was absolutely brilliant. This game is actually better than Ys 10, and the added element of the seafaring and the sea combat, I think, elevates it. It doesn't detract from the game at all. It elevates it. It makes it better. The added element here, I cannot understate how much it's improved my enjoyment of this game. So on that basis, I'll quite happily give it a 9.5, and there's really nothing stopping me giving this game a 10 out of 10, to be honest. I don't want it to end, really. I don't want it to end, and I think this, if you're interested in buying a Ys game, I would start with Ys 10. I think Ys 10, and if you enjoy Ys 10, then Ys 8, and then after that, if you're enjoying those games, then perhaps pick up Ys 9. But on the Switch, I think this, in particular, this one is particularly essential. What else can I say about the game, really? There's various other things to do. There's like targets to meet, there's fish. You need to collect a certain amount of fish. If you collect a certain amount of fish, then that obviously unlocks various other accessories. So you'll be playing this game. I think maybe you'll complete the game in sort of maybe 50 hours, but you could be putting 60 to 70 hours if you're 100% completionist, getting all the collectibles and getting all the fish. So yeah, that's really the end of my thoughts on Ys 10. I think that this is an essential purchase. If you've never played the Ys series before, Ys 10, I think, is where I would start. It's absolutely brilliant. So I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.